Yo, 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 welcome back to another edition of the 502 Lounge. It's me, Marcus, right back here with my main guy, Amir, and I hope that everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, man. How you feeling, bro? Thanksgiving's finally over, and you know what we've really been waiting for. You know what it is? And not only was it Thanksgiving week, but what else is it, man?
It's UK Hate Week,
It's
man.
UK Hate Week.
And I hate them.
I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm being real. I'm looking more forward to the UK game on Saturday than I was looking forward to Thanksgiving, man. Let's be real. Because yes, the food is great, all that's nice, but man, this year I feel like this Louisville has an unbelievable chance to win this game, and we badly need it, man.
We need it.
Uh,
Not saying any names, but we need it.
We need it, man. The 5-year reign of terror that the evil empire down 64 has had on us, man. It's been rough being a fan of the red and black lately in this rivalry. Louisville coming off of Louisville coming off of clinching their first ever spot in the ACC championship last week, beating Miami 38-31 down in Miami Gardens. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that one last time, man. How does it still feel? How does it still feel to know that Louisville is going to the ACC championship, bro?
You know what's great, man?
Yeah.
Is regardless of what happens Saturday, which I'm very confident in what's going to happen, but regardless, we play one more week than they do.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, because, dude, you know how it is when you... Because this is a very bittersweet weekend coming up, man, because not only is it rivalry week, but it's the last week of the regular season, man. It's just hard to believe that the college football season is already almost over. And, when you turn the game on that first Saturday in December and it's conference championship week, it's great and everything, but it's not the same. And especially given the fact that Louisville has never been in one of these before, the fact that Louisville now, that we will wake up regardless of what happens on Saturday, when we wake up next Saturday morning, we turn on that college game day, they're going to be talking about Louisville playing that night. Isn't it just amazing?
That's the best part, and I'm glad it just season doesn't end there. You know, we still have that game, and then we'll have a bowl game. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
And I'm not the one to try to get all nutty and everything, but hey, man, if some things happen, and if we beat Kentucky, if Louisville beats Kentucky Saturday, and then some other dominoes kind of fall in our direction, who's to say Louisville might not have their name called in that playoff on Sunday morning?
You know, that's I don't want to say it's a little far-fetched, but if things go our way, then that can happen. But right now, I think one game at a time. Let's take care of Kentucky. And I don't want to take care. I want to make sure we beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
It's coming.
They have it coming to them, man. Kentucky winning the last 4 matchups against Louisville. Cardinals have not beaten Kentucky since 2017. Man, Lamar Jackson was on the team, and that game when Louisville went up there to Lexington, and Lamar ran all over that Kentucky defense on their way to a 44-17 win. Can you believe that it's been 6 years since Louisville football has beaten Kentucky?
You know what? I actually can. You know why? Scott Satterfield is that reason.
Yeah.
All right. Other than the 2018 year, again, that was Bobby wasn't there and all that crap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Scott never had us in that game.
Never, man. We knew in 2018 when the rails fell off and we had the 2-10 season that we were going to get our goose cooked by them. But in 2019, man, that was a year, especially given the fact that Kentucky didn't have a quarterback that year.
Nope.
You remember Terry Wilson got hurt, and then they had another guy that got hurt, and they had Lynn Bowden playing quarterback. I was thinking to myself, man, there's no way Louisville should lose this game. And you want to know what happened? Louisville gave up 519 yards rush. 519 yards rushing. It was honestly possibly the worst defensive performance I've ever witnessed as a Louisville fan. And we're talking about that's coming off of a year after we let Georgia Tech run for like 600 yards on us. You remember that, man? when we were at that game, 2018.
We left early for that game.
We left early, man.
That was one of the first times we left early.
Georgia Tech ran for like 600 yards and scored 66 on us, man. But I don't even think it was as worse as Lynn Bowden looking like freaking, prime Barry Sanders on our asses. Nothing compared to that, man. It was ugly.
Look, before 2018, honestly, we were very close in that series against Kentucky.
Yep. It's practically been. I mean,
and then Scott happened.
Louisville has come within like a game of tying the series.
Yep.
Louisville and Kentucky have only played each other. You want to know what's crazy about this, man? Louisville and Kentucky have only played each other 34 times. They have been rivals forever. They've only played 34 times in football.
Wow.
It's crazy to think
That's
about,
awesome.
isn't it, man? And unfortunately, Kentucky got some wins back in the 1912s when the Titanic was still floating, and they're still trying to hold that over our heads. None of us were alive. Like, our great grandparents were kids when them games was being played, man. But that's the unfortunate part about it. And Louisville had a chance to take the lead in the series and had a chance to, get ahead, and they still just couldn't. They did, for some reason, they just couldn't do it, man.
They couldn't, and honestly, looking into it, I think, did we actually have a chance to tie it up in that 2018? I don't remember.
I think in 2016, when we lost to them, when Kentucky came in to beat us, Lamar's Heisman year, I think if Louisville won that game, Louisville would have tied. I think either tied. No, they would have taken the lead in the series.
Okay.
Because you remember, I think it was 15-15. Kentucky. No. Kentucky was up 1. Kentucky was up 1, and I think Louisville tied it again, and then Kentucky won the next 3. So we've been right there, man. And what's crazy, in the past, I'd say past 20 years of the rivalry, there's been this funny trend where one team will win 4 years in a row, and then the next trend is that the other team will win 4 years in a row. I think it goes back to 2007. Kentucky won every game against Louisville from 2007 to 2010, and Louisville won every game from 2011 to 2015, and then Kentucky, and then in the middle, Kentucky won in 2016, but then Louisville won in 2017. But then ever since then, it's been all Kentucky, and I mean, this is the year to break that trend. This is Louisville's time to shine, man.
And I tell you what, I think this is gonna happen. We're gonna win this. And before we get into predictions and all of that, what do you think we need to look out for? What are some keys to winning this game?
Kentucky, it's so strange, man, because Kentucky is one of those tricky teams. I don't really know what to think of this game because I keep thinking more of in the past with how the rivalry has gone. Kentucky, Mark Stoops loves to run the ball. His scheme is very, very. He knows the identity of his team. They run the ball very well, and they have strong defenses. That's always been the game plan for Kentucky. But man, it's been rough for them this year. They have not beaten a team with a winning record. Their closest win, their biggest win of the season came against Florida, who's 5-6. And every team that they have played that has a winning record, they've lost to. And not just lost to, but gotten dominated by outside of Tennessee. And so I just think that, I mean, it's going to be interesting. But there's one thing that I do have to give Mark Stoops credit for. Mark Stoops always has his teams ready to play Louisville. Always have. I mean, even since he first got to Kentucky. That first year his first season was in 2013, bro. And UK was coming off a 2-10 season. They still went 2-10 in 2013. But you remember Teddy's last year. We had Teddy, Devontae. I mean, Louisville went into that game as like 30-point favorites, I think, because that Kentucky team was abysmal. And you want to know what happened? I mean, Kentucky, for the most part, kept that game close. But Louisville pulled away. Well, not by close. Okay, maybe not close. They kept it respectable. They you know what I'm saying? I expected Louisville to go in there and beat the brakes off of them, beat them, 41-6. But that didn't happen, and Louisville ended up winning, I think, 27-13. It was a really ugly game, and since then, I mean, he has always had those dudes ready to play. The following year, the Kyle Bolin year, Louisville went into that game as big favorites again. But Louisville with the quarterback situation, Reggie Bonifant getting hurt, Will Gardner was already hurt, so you had to bring in a backup quarterback, Kyle Bolin. When Louisville was down 13-0, it took a third string quarterback for Louisville to win that game. Then in 2015, when Lamar came back, you remember Louisville was down 24-7 at halftime. And the freshman Lamar Jackson comes and he takes over the game. I mean, Kentucky has always come ready to play against Louisville, especially early on in the game. The one key for this game is that Louisville needs to set the tone early. They have to set the tone early because that's what Kentucky has thrived at. They have thrived at starting off strong, starting these games off strong, setting the expectation. Louisville has to be ready for that.
Absolutely. And, the biggest thing with those games were Bobby Petrino. Bobby wasn't one of those guys that did not like UK.
He hated
He hated them.
I mean, dude, his first season at Louisville, so as you all remember, Bobby Petrino had 2 tenures at Louisville, 2003 to 2006, and then 2014 to 2018. So his first ever game coaching at Louisville was against Kentucky at Commonwealth, at Kroger Field. And Louisville was up 33-24 in the final seconds. All they had to do was take a knee, but Louisville was inside the 10. All they had to do was take a knee. This man, Bobby, ran the ball and they scored a touchdown with like 5 seconds left in the game. They ended up winning by 16 points. And it was hilarious, man. The man has had pure hatred for those dudes since he had stepped foot in Louisville, man. It's just hilarious.
I love that. I love that. And I miss that.
Oh, dude, we miss it. We miss it in the worst way.
And that is why we've always, even if Stoops kept it close or somewhat respectable, we always came up because we had that. I don't want to say hate, but we opposed them so much that we worked for it extra. And Scott was not doing that. He did not care for rivals. The
man came from Appalachian State. Who's Appalachian State rival in? Georgia Southern? freaking, I don't even know, Troy? Like, they have no rivals, so of course he's not going to have a recollection of it. But, I mean, even then, it's just like, man, you got to read the room. You got to learn to read the room. Like, how, you know what I mean? It's...
I mean, even if you go ahead and take his season at Cincinnati, he lost to Miami of Ohio.
That's a rivalry game. You know they're going to come ready to play you. That's our Super Bowl.
Cincinnati has no business losing to
Miami of Ohio. That was Cincinnati's first loss to Miami of Ohio since 2008, bro. 2008.
So when I tell you that man hated rivalry games, he did.
He hated them, man. He just looked like a deer in headlights, bro. And I think this is the softest, most embarrassing thing that ever happened.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That first year when UK just absolutely took a dump on us, 45-13, man. At the handshake line or whatever, when Scott Satterfield was going to shake Mark Stoops' hand, he complains about the L's. He's like, "Hey, man, your team, they were doing the L's down, man. It really hurt my feelings." It's just, dude, are you serious? You just, not only is that embarrassing, but you just gave them like 100 times more ammo to freaking embarrass your behind.
And you remember Bobby, man, when I forgot who it was.
It was 2014.
Kentucky's assistant coach.
Yes, he
just grabbed him by the collar.
Man, like he literally, I mean, the intensity, man. That's one thing that Louisville football has sorely missed. It's a guy with intensity. And Scott Satterfield
was not it.
He was not that guy. I appreciate that he left the program in better shape than he found it. But man, there were certain things early on that just showed that he wasn't the guy for this. When you're complaining about L's, dude, it's a rivalry game. It's football. We're not playing patty cake, man. It's football, okay? Kentucky has always had a chip on their shoulder. Dude, up until Mark Stoops got to Kentucky, what did Kentucky football even do?
Right.
I mean, they had a few good years under Rich Brooks. in the mid to late 2000s. But that's about it. Kentucky football has always been a doormat, and this guy he came in, he got them playing hard, he got them playing tough, he got them believing, man, in the fixing the program, and you know what I'm saying. He knew one of the biggest things that fixing the program, transforming the program, is to establish dominance over your rival, and that is one thing that he has excelled at, man.
He has, unfortunately. But, Jeff Brom is now the head coach.
Oh, man.
And I think who better to know the importance of that game than Jeff Brom?
Jeff Brom? I mean, dude, he owned his rival. He owned Indiana at Purdue. You know what I'm saying? I think Brom went what? Brom was at Purdue for what, 6 years? He went 5-1 against Indiana, bro. He owned them. You know what I'm saying? Purdue could have had mediocre seasons. But, man, when that Indiana game came around, you know what happened? They were ready to play.
That's all it is.
And that stuff matters, man. And it just it's been rough for the fan base because it's just like, man, Louisville, even though this year Louisville is having a magical season. Louisville's having a magical season. They're 10-1. They're going to the ACC championship. They most likely already have a New Year's Six bowl bid locked up. But they still have to hear from these Kentucky fans, well, you're still going to lose to us at the end of the season. You're still going to get busted. It's just like, and the thing is like, I'm not blaming Kentucky fans. Kentucky fans have every right to
Absolutely.
talk trash.
Absolutely.
They have owned our asses for 5 years, okay? They have every right. But it's just annoying, and it's why it's super important, man. And, okay, I got a question for you, man. So, I heard this question on the radio, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Does a loss to Kentucky ruin your perception of this season?
No.
Okay.
No. It does put a little dent on it for sure, but it doesn't ruin it.
Yeah, in a sense, it's like, I don't know, man. I kind of see both sides of it because, like, I'm in the middle. I think that it goes both ways. I think that, Louisville, especially Lamar's Heisman year, Louisville starting off the way they did, starting off 9-1, had the Heisman Trophy winner. But, you had all that momentum. You beat Florida State by 43 points on your home field. You had College game day at that game. You had all the momentum riding for you, and then you just fall apart at the end of the season. And you lose to your rival, man. And Kentucky, I mean, you want to know a scary parallel to this situation? This is a lot like, in a sense, just record comparison-wise. I don't think all around, but Kentucky's 6-5. Kentucky was 6-5 in 2016. Louisville was 9-2. I mean, we're 10-1, but Louisville's 9-2 going into that UK game, and you already that's one thing that scares me is just that it's just what Louisville team will come out to play.
Now, here's what I'll say about that. That year, after the Clemson loss, that team was depleted. They were done.
I mean, honestly, it was after
we
really
lost Houston. Houston really was the
nail in the coffin. And I mean, honestly, I agree with what you're saying because I was going to actually bring that up. I think the big difference is that this year, Louisville is just about fully healthy. Toward the end of that 2016 season, I'm not making excuses. Kentucky beat us fair and square. Louisville was a 27-point favorite going into that game, and they lost. There's no excuse for that. I'm not trying to make any excuses. But Louisville's secondary was depleted. We had a bunch of injuries. And that's not an excuse, but you had nothing to play for. I mean, because really, you really had – this is back then before divisions became a thing in the ACC. So back then it was, your Atlantic Division champion and your Coastal Division champion would go to the ACC championship. And Clemson, of course – had the tiebreaker over Louisville. They had one loss too, but they had the tiebreaker over us. So Louisville had no chance to go to Charlotte, right? Which meant Louisville really kind of had nothing to play for at that point. And Kentucky had everything to play for. Yes, they were 6-5, but they were like, you know what, man? We have played since this guy became our coach. We have played Louisville hard every game, and so we have a good chance to make history here. And that's exactly what they did, 41-38, was a heartbreaking loss, man, and it somewhat did. I mean, for me, it did put a damper on the season because the way that we started it was remarkable. It was a dream season, man. You have a Heisman Trophy winner, and you're 9-1, and you know what I'm saying, legitimate buzz about the playoff, and then you go from that to losing, getting blown out by Houston and then losing to your rival. It was rough, man.
It was, after that Houston game, man. I still remember watching that game, man.
It was miserable,
heartbreaking,
dude.
just so bad.
You want to know what's so messed up about it? It started off bad from the jump because you remember
right away.
We got the ball, we fumbled the kickoff. Then the next play, Houston scored a touchdown, and that was on the first play of the game, and that was it, bro. It was done from there.
And so that's why a lot of the scenario is still lining up for this year, but we're a better team. I don't know, better team because Lamar.
Yeah,
always,
man, and you remember when Booger McFarland put out that quote about Louisville basically being Lamar Jackson and a bunch of dudes?
Yep.
Well, man, it turned out to be. He wasn't wrong. With the way that season turned out, man, it was very disappointing. I mean, if you put Lamar Jackson, and hypothetically, you put Lamar Jackson on an Alabama or something, that they win every game by like 50 points.
Even Lamar Jackson with this team, under Jeff Brom and
oh my goodness, man, why did you have to put that image in my head, bro?
Yeah,
it's like dreaming of something that you'll never have.
And hell, why even go to Lamar? I feel like even Malik,
with
this team would be because I don't want to get into Plummer or anything, but Plummer is doing a hell of a job, and I'm proud of him. But with Malik, I think that gives us a more
balanced, because Malik could do both, man. He had a great deep ball, and he could run. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And on top of Louisville already having a strong run game, oh man, that would have been hell for them to try to stop. But however, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
We have Jack Plummer, and you know what? While most Louisville fans, including myself, have given Jack Plummer grief at times, he has been consistent when it matters the most. Louisville has come up. I mean, man, it's a testament to how many close games Louisville has won this year. Georgia Tech, Indiana, NC State, Virginia, Miami. 5 of those games. You're a slim margin of error away from being 6-5 with Kentucky, in a sense. You know what I mean? But this team, Jack Plummer, has always found ways to make plays when it mattered. They've always found ways. I mean, they'll win even if it's ugly. NC State game was ugly. It was a nasty game.
Virginia game.
Virginia was nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, man, Indiana was nasty. You didn't score a point in the second half. You needed a goal line stop to win. It's a miracle. I mean, not a miracle, but it's just like it's a testament to coaching, and it's just how much this program has changed under Jeff Brom in a short period of time. So like, man, it's just. I think this team is very, very battle tested, and
definitely.
I think that at this point in the season, you know who you are as a team. You know what I mean? Kentucky hasn't been able to, not only compete against teams with winning records or teams that are decent, but they also have not been able to close out games. I mean, last week at South Carolina, to Tennessee and South Carolina, to both of their close games, Kentucky just couldn't get it done.
Nope.
Couldn't get it done. They always came up a play short, man.
And I want to go back to last year real quick and to think if Malik hadn't gotten hurt in that Kentucky game.
I mean, yeah, Malik hadn't gotten hurt, it would have changed a lot. But at the same time, man, I look at it this way: you can only play with who you have.
Yep. And
Louisville still made a lot of mistakes in that game. I mean, early on, you remember in that game last year, Louisville had a 4th and 1 inside the Kentucky 20, and they got stuffed. You can't have that. You have to capitalize, and then even when Malik was in the game, Malik did throw an interception to start the second half, and that somewhat already set the tempo, set the tone for that second half.
Do you think Malik was not injured and had we won, do you think Sat would still be here?
I think Sat was going to be gone regardless, man, because I just don't think Sat was happy.
He wanted out after his first year.
Any way possible. So. And I mean, honestly, I think it was a mutual parting of ways, because Josh Hurd was not going to give Sat that extension. He didn't feel like he earned it. Of course he did it. You haven't beaten your rival. You finished the season 7-5. Like, no, you're not going to get an extension. And then Scott already, I mean, the flirting with South Carolina thing after his second year, I mean, the writing was kind of already on the wall that he was trying to get out of here, get the hell out of Dodge. So
thank you, Cincinnati.
Thank you, Cincinnati, man. That's all I got to say. But I mean, yeah, man, this Kentucky team, they're very talented. I mean, Mark Stoops has prioritized recruiting in state and recruiting. You know what I'm saying? Like just in general, recruiting strong, especially up front on the in the trenches of both the offensive and the defensive line. They have guys who are super disruptive. Deion Walker, their best defensive lineman. I mean, the dude is a freak of nature. He's I think he's like 6'8", 350. I mean, the dude's an absolute monster, man. And he has wreaked havoc on a lot of O-lines this year. But man, I think the big difference with this Louisville team and the teams of the past is that, one, not only has Jeff Brom recruited depth in all those positions, especially on the O-line, but he's recruited size too, man. You remember Sat always loved to have them undersized linemen. Them
made no sense at all.
It made no sense. I mean, bro, this man thought we was playing in the AAC or something, bro. Like we was playing against like UTSA and UAB and stuff, man. Like, no, dude. You're playing against SEC talent. You're playing against 4, maybe even 5-star guys on the other team. And it showed, man, because think about it. Every game, like Louisville beat who they were supposed to beat. But then against teams who they were, out a little more outmatched against, they looked horrible. Ole Miss, we got killed. Kentucky, we got killed. Clemson
got killed. Than the last.
Well, last year, I mean, I'll say last year we still got dominated. The talent disparity was still very apparent. But I mean, man, I think the difference with this is that Kentucky fans are still hinging. I think they're so confident, man, based on past results. All right?
Yep.
But the thing is like when you get a new coach, past results are thrown out the window, man. And especially with Jeff Brom, especially with how Louisville has transformed its roster. This is not even remotely close to the same teams that they've beaten.
And you know what I find funny is when we heard Jeff Brom, a lot of Kentucky fans were talking a lot of shit, man.
Yep.
They were saying, yeah, it's just another Satterfield, another mediocre coach. We'll beat him just like we did with Sat. They're like, if it was Bobby, I'd be worried. But, Jeff, I'm not worried about him at all.
I mean, dude.
You haven't played him.
Do they not know what they're getting themselves into, man?
They definitely didn't know then. I think some realize.
Some are realizing it now, but man, I mean, there's still a good chunk of them that's still holding on to a glimmer of hope. I mean, the thing is, like, I understand in a sense because, I mean, bro, when you're playing in a rivalry game, records are thrown out the window, stats are thrown out the window. None of that matters, man. Kentucky, like I said, Kentucky has always come ready to play against Louisville, but at the same time, Louisville hasn't been very good either.
Louisville hasn't been good. No one has prepared them enough. Yep. Like I said, Sat did not care at all.
He didn't. He just was like a deer in headlights, man. He was soft. He just didn't understand. I mean, dude. I feel like Louisville fans don't ask for a lot, especially in football, because man, look, in college football, the postseason fabric of it is far different than what it is in college basketball.
Yep.
In college basketball, of course, you could be number 25 in the country, right? But you can still say, you know what, man, if this team gets hot at the right time, they can go to the Final Four or something. They can possibly win a national championship sometimes. You know what I mean? In college football, it's really only like anywhere from 1 to 5 teams that have a legitimate chance to win a national championship in FBS football. Because the FCS they have a playoff system. I mean,
Right.
and we do too, but a 4-team playoff, that's not enough. And thankfully, we're going to 12 next year because I think in the 12-team playoff, Louisville can consistently get there. You know what I mean? But we already know that we're probably not going to win a national championship in football. It's very unlikely. I mean, Louisville's 10-1 right now, and even if we were to go 12-1, win the ACC championship, we're probably still not going to make it to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I still think even then, even if Louisville hadn't lost to Pitt and we were 13-0 heading into that final selection, that they would still find a way to try to keep us out because they prioritize blue bloods. And the thing is, Louisville fans, our expectations are, look, compete for the ACC championship.
Yep.
Get to a good bowl game and consistently beat your rival. That's all we ask for. And that's all we don't ask for much. And so, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just
you're right, and that especially with what this program for football has, gone through with Sat and Bobby last year, everything, and I think it's about time that we give Kentucky the game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the way that we match up with Kentucky, man. I just do. I know I'm a diehard Louisville fan, but I love college football. I love watching football. And I mean, look, I don't care what anybody says. They can admit it as much as they want to. However, man, we pay attention to our rivals and what they're doing.
Well, man, of course I want to watch them lose.
Yes.
Of course I'm cheering against them.
I was dancing on their grave when they lost to South Carolina on Saturday
Absolutely.
night. I was line dancing. I was like, yes.
And I had double reasons to support South Carolina with my niece graduating from South Carolina. So yeah, I had all the reasons.
Oh no, bro, absolutely, man. And so to have it to beat, you know what I'm saying, to see them lose. So I've watched them, man. And I mean, here's the thing: it's very confusing, bro, because they have potential. Kentucky does have it. They're very talented. They have a really good quarterback, Devin Leary, NC State transfer.
We're used to him.
We're used to him. But he's a good player.
He is.
And if you give him a good amount of time, he can thread you up.
Yep.
Kind of how Tyler Van Dyke did last week with Miami. You have Ray Davis, who pretty good running back. I won't say that he is as good as Benny Snell or Chris Rodriguez, but he's still been really good for them. He almost ran for 300 yards against Florida this year. I mean, that's a record right there. You have Kentucky has really good wide receivers. Dane King, Barry Brown, and Tavion Robinson, guys who are lightning quick and who can make plays if they're given the space to do it. So I mean, they have guys who are capable of keeping it. You know what I'm saying? Of making this a game. So Louisville really has to come ready to play, which I have no doubt that they will.
Jeff Braun will have them ready. Yeah. I know. In Braun we trust. I know he knows the importance of this game. He will have these guys ready.
Absolutely, man. I just think the biggest. I think there are like 3 big keys to this game. Well, actually, I mean it's like 5 really. So I'll start with the first one. The first one, man, is that Louisville has to get pressure on Devin Leary. Devin Leary, under pressure, he is not very good. All right? He only has a 55% completion rating this year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, most of his stats have come against crap teams. Against Ball State and Akron and Vanderbilt and teams that aren't good. I mean, even against Florida, Ray Davis did all the damage early. Devin Leary, I think Devin Leary only threw, I don't even think he even threw for 100 yards against Florida. Let me check that stat out, man. Devin Leary threw for 69 yards against Florida.
Wow.
Look at that. Ray Davis ran for 280 yards.
26 carries, 3 touchdowns. Okay.
Ray Davis won them that game. Devin Leary has not been impressive. I mean, I'll be real. I didn't even think he was really that impressive at NC State.
He wasn't.
I mean, he was a good player.
Yeah.
He was a decent quarterback, but he's never been somebody that I'm scared of. So if Louisville can establish pressure early, make life uncomfortable for him, it's going to bode very well for that defense. And also, I mean, Kentucky's going to look to run the ball, and you know what Louisville likes to do? Stop the run. However, I will say Miami did have a great game on the ground last week. Mark Fletcher ran for 150 yards, I believe, and I mean he did make it rough for Louisville on the ground. But I don't know. I think Tyler Van Dyke was throwing the ball so well that it stretched out the defense, and the defense kind of had its hands full. So I mean, I think here's what Louisville has to do. They have to pressure Devin Leary and force him to turn the ball over. Force him to make uncomfortable throws. You do not want a guy like that getting comfortable. Because, it reminds me, you remember in 2016 when Kentucky had I think his name was Steven Johnson, their quarterback, Stephon Johnson. I don't remember
I do not remember
it was a black dude. He was number 15. He had like dreads, right? He didn't do anything really special that most of the year. He wasn't really even that good of a quarterback, man. But man, against Louisville, that man looked like he looked like Vince Young on us, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, Steven Johnson.
Yeah, he torched us, man. He torched our secondary. Yeah, hold on, is that him?
That's him.
Okay, well I mean that. Okay, dang, man. He ain't got no pictures. Oh, my gosh. But, I mean, he torches it, and that's what you don't want. Because, like I said, Kentucky has weapons offensively that are capable. Their tight ends are also really good. Isaiah Cummings, Josh Caddis, and Jack Dingle. They have guys, who can get things going if they are given the time to. So I think it's really going to come down to how Devin Leary – how Louisville contains him, how Louisville can kind of stress him out. And also, like, Ray Davis is also another big factor in that game. That run defense is going to have to play better, especially, after last week, giving up 146 yards to Mark Fletcher. They have to be ready to play because he's definitely an X factor for them.
I think, like I've said this before, this Kentucky team reminds me a lot of, like, Duke. And I think, you get that run defense going, I think we'll be fine. But I think on our end, we also need to establish the run. We need to get Jaws going.
Isaac Garendo.
And Garendo going.
Absolutely, man.
Because as much as, we like Plummer, but I can't rely on him.
No. I mean, I'll say this. I'll stray away a bit from the "we can't rely on him" statement.
I think we can rely on him, but
I think in a sense, it kind of ties into it. I don't think Jeff Brom was necessarily putting Jack in the best situations early on, so that's why Jack was making mistakes early on, and he was stressed out because, like I said on the podcast on Saturday. Jack isn't a deep ball guy. He's not going to be.
No, he's more of a short passes, mid range.
He's like a Will Gardner in a sense, but better. He's a better version of Will Gardner.
No disrespect.
I mean, he's not Brian. He's not going to be Brian Brom. He's not going to be Jeff Brom when Jeff Brom was a quarterback in Louisville.
Nope.
He's not going to be that. He's going to be a guy that can get you a nice 5 to 15 yards in the air. And I think that, especially given that the fact that the run game has excelled as much as it has after the bye week. And, I mean, man, I think a big factor in Louisville's current success, especially passing the ball with Jack, is that, the tight ends have gotten more involved.
Yep.
I mean, man, you had Kariski, you had Josh Lipson, Joey Gatewood had some clutch catches in that Miami game. I mean, when it looked like Louisville was in trouble on third down a few times,
Gatewood showed up. Gatewood and Kariski really showed up for that game, and yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, man, and that's gonna be a major point for him. We got to get those tight. And what I've watched from Kentucky is that I think the tight ends are going to have a great game Saturday because Kentucky, their biggest goal is to avoid giving up the big play. So they give up a lot of stuff inside, and they, you know what I'm saying. So I think the goal is to, let them. You get what I'm saying. Let them, have Kariski, have Jack, Joey Gatewood have them go crazy. Not go crazy, but you get what I'm saying. Have them, excel in the short passing game, and it's going to really help us out. But I mean, yeah, man, it's a game. This is a statement game, and it's funny when I hear, I've heard all kinds of national pundits say, "Man, this is Kentucky's Super Bowl." Man, this is Louisville Super Bowl too.
This is our Super Bowl,
bro. Louisville hasn't beaten Kentucky in 5 years.
Yep, 5 years.
It's been 5 years, man. Bro, you and I were at JCTC still the last time Louisville. We were sophomores. That was our sophomore year of college, bro. I'm 25 now with a mortgage, man. That was the last time Louisville beat Kentucky. This game is just as personal for us. And yes, Louisville's in the AC Championship. Yes, Louisville has a little more pressure on them because we have more to play for. However, we want this game just as bad as Kentucky does. And
more. We want it more.
Way more. And I mean, man, here's the thing. Kentucky is vulnerable right now. Kentucky is backsliding. I mean, you got players, subtweeting coaches on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Ray Davis's dad, talking about, upset that his son ain't getting carries. You had Dane Key's brother on Twitter upset that, Dane Key isn't getting the touches, isn't getting the targets. I mean, man, things are somewhat kind of imploding for this Kentucky team. The team chemistry, I just don't know. I think, here's what I think, man. I think Kentucky will come out with some, they're going to come out with that fake juice. That fake, they're going to come out fired up early, of course. Going to probably try to stomp on the Cardinal bird, try to start fights. Like, dude, another thing is, Louisville, another key is Louisville needs to stay disciplined.
Yep.
Kentucky has nothing to lose. I can see Kentucky coming out and playing dirty, coming out and trying to pick fights. You know what I mean? They want to get in your head. If you stop that, if you ignore that, look at what happened in the Miami game. Miami committed 3 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the final minute of that game. You want to know what's crazy about that Hail Mary play? You remember Miami got a penalty on the punt. If Miami doesn't get a penalty on that punt, that Hail Mary they probably score a touchdown.
Yep. And this isn't only to just players, but even fans that are going to the game. Louisville fans, Kentucky fans will try to get in your head. They do.
Yep.
They'll do L's down.
Yep.
They will make it hard for you. Keep your composure. It's not worth getting into a fight.
Nope.
I'm not only telling you guys this, I'm telling us this too, because
we went to
couple years ago,
we went to the Kentucky, game, the Louisville Kentucky game, 2021, man, and had some things almost pop off at that game.
We just had to move, and
we had to move. I mean,
and if you have to move, go to a party deck or somewhere.
Literally,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, man. But for real though, Louisville needs to stay composed. They need to not let Kentucky try to get in their heads, try to call. Because that's the thing. They want Louisville to react, to get penalties. All right? Yep. If Louisville just doesn't, don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you. You remember in 2017 when Lamar got in that fight with Jordan Jones and they threw the trash can and all that? No. You got to keep your composure in this game. You know what I mean? Let them get the penalties. Let them do the boneheaded things. You know what I'm saying? It only helps us out. It gives us good field position. Yep. So we need to stay composed. I know it's easier said than done, but we have to keep our composure. And so,
all right, let's get into injuries. What injuries do we have in Kentucky? What are we dealing with?
I'm looking at the injury report. I mean, the biggest question left. I mean, is biggest question is Jarvis Brownlee for Louisville. Jarvis Brownlee is still kind of dealing with He's dealing with I'm trying to think what injuries that he's dealing with, man. Jarvis Brownlee, he's been dealing with it's an undisclosed injury that they haven't really said. I mean, it's something with his knee or something. I don't even know what it is, man. But he's been out since. I don't think Jarvis Brownlee has played since the Pitt game. It seems like he's been out for a long time, bro.
He was it was in the nagging foot injury in the Pitt game, and he was out for the Virginia game, and
yep.
he was a game time decision in the Virginia game.
Yeah,
so.
it was a game time decision to Miami. He didn't play that game either.
So we could see him.
I mean, man, and the thing is, it's like I'm not trying to look far ahead, but I would love. I mean, I really hope we get him back because not only for the Kentucky game, but like the Florida State game, man.
Absolutely.
Play against his former team because he went to Florida State. Brownlee came to Florida State. I mean, we need him for Kentucky too. I mean, anybody on the anybody we can get, we will take, especially Jarvis Brownlee.
And of course, losing Brown, who's out for the season, that hurts.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And I mean, Jaws. I mean, hopefully, Jaws still that hamstring is still bothering him.
He's still not 100%. And same thing with Jamari Thrash. He hasn't been 100%.
He still hasn't been. I mean, man, Jaws has not been the same since that Notre Dame game.
No, he has not.
He has not. I mean, he did have 2 touchdowns against Duke, but that was it. I mean, the Virginia game, he didn't really do anything. The Miami game didn't do anything.
Lately, it's been Garendo.
It's been the Isaac Garendo
It's been the Garendo show, and I think Garendo and Jaws need to step it up for this game. They need to show up, and which I'm sure they will.
Absolutely, man.
And hopefully Jamari is better.
Get that hand together because, man, we need everybody in this.
We need everyone in.
This is a big game, man. And I just want to ask, man, like, what does this rivalry mean to you, bro? Like this, I mean, I know that mainly Kentucky and Louisville are fierce rivals, primarily on the court in basketball. But man, since Mark Stoops has gotten to Kentucky, the football rivalry has definitely gotten more intense.
Man, the best way to put it is, I'm not known as a guy that cusses a lot, right? Best way to put this is, when I'm watching Louisville play Kentucky, I am cussing in every freaking language I know. Because I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, hate them. I hate their fans, their school. I hate everything about them.
Everything, that ugly royal blue.
If the University of Kentucky shut down today, I will throw a party. I will call. Everyone's invited. You don't even need an invitation. You just show up.
Oh my God.
I hate them, all right?
Hey, man, they turned the UK campus into a homeless shelter or something, bro.
Man, no. It has to be worse than that.
Oh, no. We're going to turn into a waste management facility or something?
Yeah, exactly. I'll take all my trash in that UK, bro.
Isn't it awesome to know that, like, we have 2 of the world's largest garbage cans within an hour and a half of Louisville? You have Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know me, we both still a nation to the end. We got Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. It's the biggest garbage can. And then you got Kroger Field right there. You know what I mean? It just, everything about them, and especially, man, since they've been beating us, it's been worse. Like, the vitriol that I just feel.
Man, I was watching the game, Kyle Bolin game.
Yeah.
Man, when I tell you I was cussing every language, talking about putting Kentucky in the grave.
Oh no!
I was saying every.
PG now,
I was saying everything. I was saying everything.
I'm sorry, disclaimer, folks. Don't listen to don't ignore what he just said. I don't want to get the FCC called or something.
So, with that being said, that's how much I hate them, and this game means just as much.
It means everything. I mean, man, I'm being real. Like I know that Louisville has everything to play for, ACC championship and everything. But, man, let's not fool ourselves, man. Kentucky's the biggest game of the year.
Regardless, football, basketball, whatever.
This is an important game because not only, one, will Louisville regain the Governor's Cup, but, man, beating your rival is important for recruiting. It's important for the brand, your representation in the state. I mean, here's the thing. Kentucky fans in football, they always have hated us, but they respected us. They feared us. And they don't fear us no more. We've been a shell of ourselves. And it's time that comes to an end, man. 5 years is long enough. It has to end. And I mean, what better way to end the streak than end it on your home field, man? Dude, this game's on ABC, bro. We're going to be on nationally televised game for the whole country to see, bro. People in other countries will probably be able to watch this game because it's on ABC, man.
Look, with Jeff Brom's first year having a beautiful start to the season, 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best way to start this
I
rivalry.
mean, dude, you go 11-1 and you beat Kentucky. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, and this might just be me. It doesn't matter what happens in the ACC championship.
No, it doesn't.
All right, the fact that we made it is a miracle. But man, beating Kentucky, oh, dude, you have to beat Kentucky, especially now. There is no. I mean, there never is. It never is acceptable to lose to Kentucky.
No,
but it really isn't this year.
No,
Kentucky's 6-5. They're running on fumes. We're 10-1, and I mean, man, you got all these UK fans talking about, well, we play in the SEC. You know, Louisville's never played in that conference. If Louisville's in the SEC, they'd be 4-8. No, we wouldn't, bro. We would not be no 4-8, bro. First of all, I'll say this, man. It's been not just Kentucky fans. It's been Missouri fans. It's been Tennessee. They've been coming all out the woodwork to talk crap about Louisville, bro. About our strength of schedule. When really, in reality, y'all are riding Alabama and Georgia's coattails. It's Alabama and Georgia's conference. It's not, bro. Everybody else would be in the freaking ACC. Like really, I just don't understand. Louisville has better wins than Missouri, has a tougher schedule than Missouri. Just because you only lost to Georgia by 9 points means nothing. You still lost the game.
Win's a win, loss is loss.
And not only that, but the ACC has a winning record against the SEC. They're 4-2. And you want to know what's something funny about that? There's probably going to be more this weekend. Think about it. Okay, let's give the wins.
Louisville, Kentucky,
Louisville, Kentucky, Florida State over Florida,
Yep.
Clemson over South Carolina.
Yep.
The only game that the SEC will win over the ACC is Georgia over Georgia Tech. That's the only game that the SEC will win. So I'm tired of hearing it, man. You know what? The SEC is tough, but guess what? The world don't revolve around you. There are better conferences out there. Okay, it's Alabama and Georgia's league. Everybody else is kind of middle of the pack.
And to be honest, it's more Georgia.
It's more Georgia. Georgia's they could be 3-time defending champs. You know what I mean? I'm tired of it, man. I mean, here's the thing. Kentucky fans want to talk about, they're trying to invalidate our ACC championship and say, well, if we were in the ACC, we'd make it. No, you wouldn't. Bro, Missouri has been in the SEC for 11 years, bro. And you want to know something? Missouri's been to the SEC championship twice.
Wow.
Twice. What has Kentucky done in football? Your excuse is out the window. Missouri football has been to the SEC title game twice in 12 years. You've never been to the SEC championship. I don't want to hear it. So, I mean, man, that's another reason why I want to win this game so bad, man. It's because I want to shut them up. I want to shut these SEC talking heads up. And, man, I'm being real. I'll say it. I'm hoping that we get Missouri in a New Year's Six game. The mess that they've been talking, bro, I hope we play them.
I hope so, too. I was going to ask you that. Do you think that's even possible?
I mean, it's definitely possible, but there are so many good teams in the SEC that Missouri still might not even make it to New Year's Six. I mean, they would still...
Yeah, that's...
I'm trying to think here, man. Missouri would need Alabama to lose to Georgia. That's their only way. I don't see it, man. I just don't see it, and so I don't know, man. It's just that's another reason. I mean, not only on top of wanting to beat Kentucky, it's to shut these SEC heads up. So I'm tired of them riding Bama and Georgia's coattails. So yeah, man. But I want to get to I know we're about to get over an hour again.
Yeah.
It's probably time to get ready to go on and end this thing. I want to get your prediction. What? Okay, give me 3 keys to the game and give me a score prediction.
Well, like I said, establish the run game, and then get those short passes, get the tight ends involved, and really stop the run game too.
Absolutely, man.
Defend. And, when our defense plays good, this little team is dangerous.
Absolutely.
Because I find it that our offense feeds off of our defense. It really does.
Yep.
And so I think Louisville's going to win 24-17.
24-17? Okay.
I think that 17, they're going to get that, like a field goal at the end or something like that.
Okay.
But within 10 points, I think it's going to be around a 10-point game.
Okay, yeah. Louisville is a 7.5
point
favorite.
Seven.
Seven.
Oh, it's 7 now?
Seven on the dot.
Oh wow, okay. So I think it'll be 7-10 somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, there are stop the run. You know, contain Ray Davis.
Yep.
That contain Ray Davis and get pressure on Devin Leary. That's a major. Those are two major keys to the game. Because like I said, Devin Leary, he is a good quarterback if you give him time.
Yep.
I mean, any quarterback is, but Devin Leary definitely is a guy who is capable. And I mean, he's dealt with a lot of injuries and stuff with his shoulder. And he hasn't been the same since his injuries. But he's still a guy that's capable. You put pressure on him. You make it uncomfortable for him early. You set the tone. That's what you have to do. Also, my other key to to win this game is, man, just stay disciplined. Avoid dumb penalties.
Absolutely.
Avoid the unsportsmanlike conduct. Because like I said, man, Kentucky teams in this situation, man, have nothing to lose. Okay. Louisville, you have everything to lose.
Absolutely,
you have so much. I mean, you have not only AC championship next week, but I mean, you have a chance. I mean, a slim chance to make it to the college football playoff. But you have a chance still. You only have one loss, so don't do anything stupid that will even put that in jeopardy. That will even give Kentucky even the slightest momentum that they didn't even earn. Okay, those are my keys. And I mean, I think that matchup-wise, like I said, man, I just think that, one, Kentucky fans are putting a lot of stock into thinking that this is still the same Louisville team. It's not.
It's not, right? And they'll find out soon.
We have an entirely revamped roster. This is not the same team, and I just think that Louisville will get it done. I don't know, man, given the way the offense is played, I don't think Kentucky's defense is still stout, but I think that our physicality will wear them down. They're not going to be ready for it. Give me Louisville 31 and Kentucky 20.
I can see that happening. I can.
31 to 20, Louisville will get the W. And I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Louisville wins by more. But I'll keep it at about 11 right now. I just think.
See, my heart tells me it could get a lot worse, but I'm
heart,
keeping it cool.
Yeah, I want to say we beat them 45-7, but that's
not. Yeah,
but you never know, man. You never know. Like I said, this is a different team, and we will be ready to play. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an early game, unfortunately. 12 noon.
That's
kickoff.
The worst part about this game.
I know it's a noon kickoff, and I mean the last time Louisville and Kentucky played at noon, Louisville lost. So not what we really want, but hey, you know what? Whether we play at noon, 3:37, 1 o'clock in the morning, you got to come ready to play.
We will be there.
We will be ready.
And
so
the weather is looking a little chilly, 46 high. So bundle up, you guys, and
we get ready. Everybody, hey, eat them leftovers tonight, and we gonna get ready, man, because tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow is the day. It's Big Blue Day. It's time to take them boys down. So
yes, sir.
We will see y'all at L&N Stadium Saturday afternoon. Everybody, card march 9:30. 9:30. Let's send the seniors off strong. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all there.
All right. Beat UK.
Beat UK, baby.